The Disappearance. It was just another quiet evening in a small suburban neighborhood when the call came in. A mother's frantic voice echoed through the phone. Her 10-year-old son, Ethan, had gone missing. The boy had been playing outside with friends, but as dusk fell, he didn't return home. We were called in immediately, knowing that every second mattered in these cases. The last sighting of Ethan was near the forest edge, a place the locals referred to as the thicket. That night, the search teams scoured the area, and I personally led an investigative team to retrace the boy's steps. The forest search. The search expanded as daylight broke. We combed the dense forest, the trees looming over us like silent witnesses. Something felt off. There were no obvious signs of a struggle near the path where the boy had last been seen. We questioned everyone, the parents, the kids who had been with Ethan, and anyone living nearby. But no leads. As hours turned into days, hope began to wane. The media started speculating, but we knew there was more to this. The forest, however, wouldn't keep its secrets hidden forever. The discovery. 5 days later, the worst possible news came. A group of volunteers found Ethan's body in a shallow grave deep in the woods. The scene was horrific. His small frame was covered in dirt with clear signs of foul play. Forensics confirmed what we feared. The boy had been killed. Our investigation turned into a hunt for a murderer. We cordoned off the area and began piecing together what little evidence we had. A shoe print near the body, strange markings on nearby trees, and a few strands of hair not belonging to Ethan. The puzzle pieces. As we delved deeper into the evidence, we discovered a troubling pattern. Similar cases had occurred in nearby towns over the last few years, but they never garnered much attention. The victims were all young children found in remote locations with very few clues left behind. We realized that this wasn't an isolated case. Ethan's killer had done this before. I knew we were dealing with someone meticulous, someone who knew the area well and had planned everything in advance. We needed to move quickly or they would strike again. Unmasking the suspect interviews with locals gave us a new lead, a man named Frank Miller. He was a loner living on the outskirts of the forest, with a questionable past. Some said he was strange, others said dangerous. But Miller was smart. There was no direct evidence tying him to the crime. Still, I knew from experience that instinct often led us to the right answers. We started surveillance on him, hoping he'd slip up. While we watched Miller, we also looked into his past and uncovered disturbing details about his time in a neighboring town. To break through one evening, Miller made a move. He left his house late at night, heading straight into the forest. We followed closely, maintaining our distance. What he didn't realize was that we had anticipated his route, setting up a trap. Miller was seen visiting a secluded part of the woods, the same area where another child had gone missing years earlier. When we moved in to arrest him, he denied everything, claiming he was just taking a walk. But this time, we found traces of dirt on his clothing that matched the soil from Ethan's grave. The interrogation Miller was brought in for questioning, but he stayed silent for hours. We pushed, bringing up the evidence, the past crimes, the victims. Finally, cracks began to show. He started speaking in fragments, hinting at his knowledge of the forest and the children he watched. It was clear Miller wasn't just a random suspect. He was a predator. But without a full confession, we needed more concrete proof. That's when one of my team members made a connection between Miller and a series of unsolved missing children cases from years ago, the hidden evidence. A thorough search of Miller's property uncovered key evidence. Photos of the forest taken on different dates, shoes matching the prints found near Ethan's body, and a collection of trinkets that could only have belonged to the children. He had kept trophies of his crimes, hidden in plain sight. With this, we were able to connect him to not just Ethan's murder, but several others. The scale of his crimes was staggering, and the community was shaken by the revelation that this man had lived among them unnoticed for so long. Justice Miller was charged with multiple counts of murder and abduction. His trial was highly publicized, and the families of the victims sought closure. I watched from the back of the courtroom as the evidence was laid out, knowing that we had brought a monster to justice. Ethan's family found some peace, though the scars would never fully heal. The case had been one of the most challenging of my career, but seeing Miller behind bars made every long hour worth it. We had prevented him from claiming any more innocent lives. A final word. This case taught me, and it's a lesson I want everyone to remember. Trust your instincts and protect your children. Be vigilant about who they interact with, and don't ignore warning signs, no matter how small. People like Frank Miller exist, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to strike. If you ever sense something is off, don't hesitate to act. We solved this case, but I can't help but think about the other children whose stories never came to light. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again.